Hello everyone and welcome to the Week 5 video review. In this first play, we end up with a forward pass very near the line of scrimmage, and we get a nice job of line officiating by our short wing. Remember that it is an illegal forward pass if a pass is thrown by a teammate player whose entire body is beyond the neutral zone when the ball is released. Clearly the ball does travel forward and is touched beyond where it is released, so it is considered a forward pass. But also critical on this play is the patience at the line of scrimmage to recognize whether or not the passer has entirely crossed the line of scrimmage. This is a nice job of being patient and letting the play come to us instead of moving downfield too quickly, which would put us out of position to rule on this difficult play. In this next play, keep an eye on the receiver at the bottom of the screen as we get a call for defensive pass interference in the end zone. Although this is the deep wing's key, the back judge does a nice job of reacting to the play, pivoting, and being able to help on this play. When we look from the end zone view, we can see that the back judge actually has a great view at the early contact and the hit to the body that prevents the receiver from making a catch. Finally, since the ball is snapped from the 16-yard line, correct enforcement of this foul in the end zone would be putting the ball on the 2-yard line. Here we get a foul for offensive pass interference, for a push-off against a defender that opens up space for another receiver to run through. When we look at this play on film, we see that the defender is in a press position and does jam the receiver at the line of scrimmage. That said, we need to recognize there will be some initial contact at the line of scrimmage between the offensive and defensive players. There is contact at the line of scrimmage, but as deep judges, we need to be ready to recognize what is incidental contact versus what is illegal contact, for example, blocking downfield or driving through a defender. This next play demonstrates a nice job of off-ball officiating by our deep judges. The highlighted receiver at the end of the play has his face mask grasped and pulled off by a player of the defense. If we're too focused on the immediate action around the ball carrier and the pile, we would miss this obvious face mask foul. This is something that we need to see, so it's a nice job of staying with our keys until they can no longer be threatened. A play like this becomes especially important when we're in the Zap 10 window, as this may impact whether or not we have a 10-second runoff on the game clock if we do not see this foul. Finally, when communicating to the referee, be ready to bring information as to whether this was dead ball action or occurred during the play, in which case we would replay the down with the foul enforced. Here we have another face mask foul against the highlighted player on an offensive player prior to a change of possession. First, mechanically, this is a nice job of the umpire not turning too quickly to see the action and staying with his keys. From the end zone feed, we get a good look at the grab and hold of the face mask by the highlighted player. This is a good illustration of our clean hands principle, in which the defense commits a foul prior to gaining possession, so they will not keep the ball on this play. Just like in the last play, it's critical that when reporting the information to the referee, we make sure we state whether or not the foul was before or after the change of possession. In this next play, we pass on what at first glance appears to be a horse collar tackle. Remember, by rule, it is a horse collar tackle if a player grabs the inside back collar of the shoulder pads or jersey, the nameplate area, or the inside collar of the side of the shoulder pads or jersey, and immediately pulls the ball carrier down. In this case, we do have an initial grab up high by the defender, but we see that when he continues the tackle, his hands slide down. So we do not have a horse collar tackle, because we do not have a grab and immediate pull down from up near the neck area on the offensive player. In this next play, look at the highlighted receiver at the top of your screen. During this punt play, the receiver is blocked out of bounds by a member of the receiving team. Prior to coming back into the field of play, the K player initiates a block against a receiving team player who is inbounds. Now remember that by rule it is illegal for any player to be clearly out of bounds when he initiates a block against an opponent who is also out of bounds. Therefore, by rule, we do not have a personal foul on this play because the out of bounds player initiates a block on a player that is inbounds. An additional layer to this play is remembering that no Team A player who goes out of bounds during a scrimmage kick down may return inbounds during the down. The exception to this is if it's a Team A player who is blocked out of bounds and attempts to return inbounds immediately. This is exactly what we have on this play, so we have neither a foul for a personal foul, nor do we have a foul for an out of bounds player by the kicking team. As a final note, remember that wings, deep and short, we need to keep the sidelines clear. At the very end of this play, we see that our deep judge, who is attempting to move upfield and spot the ball, has to run around players along the sideline that are entering the field too quickly. We must keep them back so we can do our jobs. Be firm, but be fair when enforcing the sideline rules. In this next play, we also have contact against an opponent who is out of bounds. However, in this situation, it's against a ball carrier. Now remember that by rule, no player is allowed to contact an opponent obviously out of the play either before or after the ball is dead. This is an illustration of contact that is a personal foul. Although it initiates inbounds, the runner is giving himself up and the defender continues to drive the runner all the way to the backside of the team area. This was correctly flagged for a personal foul. As mentioned before, remember that we need to communicate that this foul occurred after the play, and so the change of possession in this circumstance would stand, the defense would keep the ball, and the personal foul yardage would be enforced at the end of the run. Our final play covers Rule 944, illegally kicking the ball. Remember that a player shall not kick a loose ball, a forward pass, or a ball being held for a place kick by an opponent. In this scrimmage kick play, we have a muffed snap by the kicking team, and as the ball is rolling near the 5-yard line, a member of the kicking team kicks the ball out of the back of the end zone, off the ground. This is a foul for illegal kicking. Because the kicking team forces the ball across the goal line and out of the back of the end zone, the result of the play is a safety. Options for Team B include declining the foul and accepting the safety, or having the foul enforced, which would be enforced half the distance to the goal, and because it is a loss of down foul and was 4th down, it would give Team B the ball first and goal at the 2-yard line. Remember when communicating options with coaches on these types of plays, if it's atypical or unusual, to communicate all the information clearly and give them plenty of time to make their decision. That's all for this week's video review. Go out and have a great week 6.